Good evening. Leading our news bulletin for tonight, the newer project for the design, manufacture and installation of solar power grid-connected generators and battery-backed power stabilizers anticipates annual savings of 137,000 New Zealand dollars and a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by approximately 329 tons per annum. This has been given the green light by funding agencies to receive $4 million. Yesterday, the funding acquired through the Pacific Environment Community Fund was signed off by the government and the Secretary General of the Pacific Island Forum Secretariat, Tuiloma Neroni Slade. The Pacific Environment Community Fund was part of a declaration made by the Pacific Island leaders and Japan during Palm 5 in 2009 to tackle environmental issues. Each Forum Island country was provided with an indicative allocation of $4 million to support generation systems and seawater desalination plants, or a combination of both. Secretary General of the Pacific Island Forum Secretariat congratulated the government of Niue and expressed his gratitude to the donor country.
In my capacity as the chairman of the PEC Fund Joint Committee, I congratulate the government of Niue on the recent approval of your proposal for the design, manufacture and installation of solar power grid-connected generators and battery-backed power stabilizer. I should take the opportunity to note the appreciation and gratitude not only of Niue, but the 14 Pacific Island countries to the government of Japan for the generosity that has been extended to our region through the PEC Fund. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, the PEC Fund, in a way, is a responsibility or is a result of the efforts of your Premier. He was the co-chair with the Prime Minister of Japan for this very key meeting that Pacific leaders had with the leadership of Japan in 2009 in Hokkaido, when the Pacific Environment Community Fund, or the PEC Fund, was approved at this important summit, the Palm 5 Summit. I'm pleased to note that to date, all Forum Island countries have gone past phase 1, and that 11 of the 14 participating Forum Island countries have received approval for their project proposals. The financing agreement to be signed today is to confirm this contribution of $4 million to Niue's project. At the conclusion of this signing ceremony, project funds will be released in the next few days, as has been touched on by the Premier, to enable the project implementation to start moving.
He also said Niue is only one of few countries in the region to progress this far.
This project, for those of you who may not be familiar with it, is very innovative. It is significant to your country in that the power generated from the solar panels will be passed directly through the national grid, whilst a battery bank will ensure a stable and uninterrupted power supply to the grid. While this approach is not entirely new for your country, this project will provide a substantial avenue for reducing New Ways Power Corporation reliance on fossil fuel for the generation of electricity. As stated in the project proposal, it is expected that the project will reduce fuel costs by approximately $130,000 per year. That is a considerable amount of savings, I believe, Mr. Premier. In the long term, the cost savings accumulated will represent a very significant savings that can be utilized for other priority areas. In the same token, increasing the use of renewable energy will increase New Ways' resilience to fluctuations in the world petroleum prices. Now, as a result of this project, New Way will now receive a further 15.4% of the total electricity supply from solar. Very few countries in our region are at that stage of development. So the warmest commendation and congratulations to you in the community and to your government and to the Premier.
Niue made an agreement in the Niue Environmental Declaration in 2007 to commit to the pursuance of renewable avenues for the island. Honourable Toke Talangi also expressed his sentiments to those who were instrumental in acquiring the funds.
Signing of the agreement today will ensure that the money that has been allocated will then be provided to the government to enable the government to work with our partners in Japan. And may I acknowledge Teichi Fox, who has also been instrumental in assisting us with the Japanese partners that we have selected to assist us in the implementation and execution of this project on our behalf. I acknowledge the hard work that has also been done by the technical advisor, Paul Johnson, as well as a team of workers that we have been working with diligently on the island, including the head of Niue Power and his workers, for the work that we have all done together to ensure that we reach this point, the signing so that the money can be transferred so that we can start the project.
The signing of the agreement took place yesterday at the Whalefono in front of the members of the Legislative Assembly and government officials. Last night, Niue Police responded to a motor vehicle accident in downtown Alofi. The accident occurred at about 11 p.m. when one vehicle with 3 people slammed into a wooden barrier across the road from Niue Primary School. The driver, a male in his late teens, and 2 passengers were taken to Niue Fall Hospital but only sustained minor injuries. Niue Police investigations into the accident are ongoing, but the department is pleading with the public to be more responsible when driving. The message is to slow down and most definitely not to drink and drive, because the two can be a lethal combination. Yesterday morning's Niue Legislative Assembly meeting caused more commotion about the standing orders, business paper and order paper, and the legislations on what members of Parliament and Speaker of the House are allowed to do whilst in chambers, and protocols to run the Assembly. Whilst contemplations on the order of Assembly, questions were posed to ministers with most answered, and some chose to refer back to departments for clarifications. The report from the study tour group to the New Zealand Parliament was the next. One of the questions not included in the order paper for the meeting had a sticky start, with Speaker of the House contemplating whether to allow the question in the discussions. The question on when a financial secretary will be appointed had Honourable Premier explaining the difficulties governments had in appointing an appropriate person to run the finance department of its operations. The government has opted for over 1 year to stay with the acting financial secretary until it can find the suitable person. The motions followed the questions, with the first taking longer than expected, asked by Honourable Terry Koh, asking the Assembly to amend the Constitution to reduce the numbers of members of Parliament, with suggestions of splitting the island into sections or looking at reducing the common roll members or those with less in population. There were many in favour and many opposed in their views. However, the member who submitted the motion requested to take the motion to the Constitution Review Committee to review the numbers of the members of the Niue Legislative Assembly and to amend the original motion. The vote to send the amended motion to the Constitution Review Committee, with 17 in favour and 1 opposed. The meeting from Whaliwhānau did not conclude yesterday and will continue at a later date. Yesterday, Taonga Niue was able to provide an overview of findings from the Endangered Cultural Heritage Mapping Project at Whasiau in a presentation to stakeholders. According to the director, Moira Enetama, the pilot project in Whasiau has revealed some insights into the lives of the people who once lived at the old village settlement, the reasons behind the internal migration and the need for the relocation. The project's benefits include empowerment as well as opportunities for people from Vaea to revisit their roots and origins, as well as acknowledging the challenges faced and identifying a way forward. Moira says that the project has also progressed well by collaborating and sharing resources with other departments such as the Justice Lands and Surveys Division, who were able to present a visual representation of what the village may have looked like based on data collected using GPS systems and their GIS. The area that has been cleared at Whasiau is about 7,900 square meters, but there is still a fair bit of work to be done. This is only the first of what will hopefully be a continuation to use lessons learned from Whasiau and look at other village settlement sites and historical sites for cultural mapping and fostering good relationships between people. This morning's triathlon event by Niue Tourism did not go to plan with the start, as competitors for the swimming leg of the event having to lap a 3-kilometre race to make up for the swimming leg that was cancelled due to rough seas. Many of those geared up to take the plunge took the high road instead, with the expected winner heading the lead in the first leg to lead also the second leg of the bike event. Mr. Rick Graham, who won the 10-kilometre race on Monday, also blitzed the field today, mostly made up of locals and high school teams, to win also the last. He won the overall individual competition. Though most of the locals have probably not participated in this type of event before, the individuals who competed for the prestigious title had local John McGregor taking second place, young Clifford Marsh in third place after having problems with the bike section of the race, and in fourth place Chris James. The only strong woman to tackle the grueling course was Alana Tukuniu, who finished her race with Chris James. Even though she had her own race to compete with, Alana will most likely take the Rockwoman title for 2012. The team's competition was an excellent event as well, with 7 registered teams. The competition was certainly tough, with some of the young ones taking on the older teams. The team event was won by the A team of Niue High School, followed by Thanos Jim, third Thomas, Poi and Richard, fourth the Niue High School B team, fifth TNB, sixth High School Juniors team, and seventh placing the Swanson Supermarket team. Congratulations to all the winners. Niue Tourism said the event was excellent and encouraged more competitors for the 2013 event, expected to take place on the 4th to the 7th of November. They also wish to thank all competitors and supporters and volunteers of the Rockman Rockwoman event for 2012. And that concludes our news bulletin for tonight. We do hope that you can join us again for our next news bulletin next week.